Hey, what's up? This is Jeff and Danielle going through Amateur Friday offerings. Alright, so let's read the premise here. Let's see if it's going to show up yet. Does it refresh this? Shazam. Uh-oh, hide the preview. Hide the preview. Alright, it's still saying I'm offline, but I'm sure it'll figure itself out. Anyways, am I actually online? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, cool.
Groovy. Alright, so anyways, okay, more scripts. Walk across the sun. Long after the fall of civilization, sheltered teen searches for his estranged older brother. Sheltered. How would you be sheltered in a post-apocalyptic world? Like,
Maybe
I don't understand what this is like. Yeah, okay, maybe so. Alright, man finds himself at war. Okay. Gang of Marauders, Mojave Desert. I like that one. Let's do that one.
Yeah, I like it.
Alright, energy off. Man finds himself at war with his repressed subconscious in this sex comedy spin on Jekyll and Hyde. On a day that will determine whether Geoff Perkins will get the promotion he desperately needs to maintain custody of his sister, he begins experiencing blackouts that allow his inner horn dog to get out. Sounds awkward. Especially because my name's Jeff. Maybe it hits too close to home.
Yeah, agreed.
A little. Oh man, that hurts.
No gracias.
No gracias. Okay, where did it go? New. Boop. There we go. Okay, then this letter. Carson, full disclosure, my husband matters on your page daily. Dee. Oh, that's nice.
Aww.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Sneaking through Matt's notes, I found the description as actions of a ruthless kidnapper grip an affluent neighborhood in fear. Young boy broken from the home may possess a secret that ends the reign of terror.
Sounds good.
Yeah? At least the logline makes sense. But there's no hint of society scandal. Read the script. Sweet. Has read several scripts and found seem to be shared. Oh, that's nice. Okay, the Pope, a former soldier. The Pope, comma, a former soldier. So the Pope is a former soldier. So, boop.
Sound.
That's Bowen taking the trash cans out.
Oh, I thought he was in the bathroom.
Or maybe I think it's one of our neighbors taking
okay.
the trash cans out. It's a murderer taking the trash cans out.
Oh no.
Alright, what else?
So the Pope, a former
You can check out one of these. So these are all the different ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pope, a former soldier, goes on the run to stop the American president's evil plan.
His life choices right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty low key.
Yeah.
But so these are all the different things people post on the site. So like.
So you just read like the quick synopsis.
So yeah, it's like Pope, former. So then you pick. So we usually will pick two and just be like, okay, which are like the two that sound most interesting.
And then you just dive into it.
And
Yeah.
10 pages.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Fun.
It's interesting. You're welcome to join if you're bored. It's like watching a mini movie, but some of them are in varying degrees of like strength.
You Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then I got finished up Act 2.
Oh wow, this is a new Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
It's on Netflix.
Oh wow.
You gotta get on
That's
that.
cool. Are we even
Let
online?
me see. Test. Yeah, looks
Okay,
like it's
cool.
working.
Oh,
There we go. Sweet. All right, so off we go. The Pope, a former soldier, goes on the run to thwart the American president's evil plan to stoke a holy war in the Middle East, and gets some help along the way from a badass Virgin Mary. Okay. A retired marine biologist goes back to the water when interdimensional time-traveling sharks invade our world, but an overzealous military man has nefarious plans for strange fish.
Airplane meets Jaws.
I think we're gonna stick with my initial picks.
The Burn on It and the Walk Across the Sun.
Let's do it. All right, should we start with Burn on It?
Yeah, sounds good.
Off we go. Sweet. And I will just move this all the way to the bottom. Oof. There we are.
Boom.
All right, Burn on It. Written by Matt Kempo, Michigan. Nice. We were actually up there for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's cold. Very cold. All right. Exterior Community Building Day. The brick building posts a small sign for self-help gatherings. Classroom Day. A small room. So be careful for repeated words. So small and small will sometimes like pop readers out. Burn on it. And then go to page 1. So I won't give that note again if it comes up, but it's just good to know. A small room contains a dozen people seated at a large rectangular conference table. Everyone smokes cigarettes. A woman in her late 20s attends the meeting. Her long, tangled hair partly covers her face. I've ruined lives. The weight of this guilt. It's like I can't take a deep breath. I drink to escape those feelings. I'm so alone. Tina, you're not alone.
Spell your.
Where?
Your. You're not alone.
Oh, good spot. I was
Pet
looking
peeve,
at
sorry.
that. That's good.
Minor.
Good catch.
I'm one of those people then.
Yeah, I mean that's just
Very
good to know
small,
because
yeah.
the page one errors are usually, and I've done this too, so don't like stress out, but that's usually a little bit of like oh hey, probably should be doing those line edits, especially on page 1. It's very the first 5 pages are very, very important. Woman in her late 20s attends a meeting. Her long tangled hair partially covers her face. Okay, it seems a bit on the nose, but maybe that's what you're going for. Everyone else is walking around like a normal day, and I'm stuck in this hell. I can't kill myself. Wait, is this the woman? Tina?
Yeah, because then the A member says, Tina, you are not alone.
Oh, I would just introduce her as Tina then. I would just be like, don't intro as woman, then have the intro in dialogue. Just start with Tina. Same with like a novel too, right? Like just even if someone hasn't said their name yet, just call them what? Like call them that name, like, you know. Okay, because I mean everyone else is walking around like it's a normal day. I'm stuck in hell, not until I know. Post office building. Happy Monday. How's it going? So today we're reading over Burn on It, which is, I'm going to look at the premise real quick. But it's pretty much, starting in like an AA room here.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. It's first page, so you came at the right time. Post Office Day. An enormous building attracts dozens of mail trucks, which circulate around this key distribution center in the postal network. A few more snow-covered bushes and people wearing heavy coats betray the image of a warm, sunny day. Great. So good like writing, good like line spacing, like 4 lines is about as long as you want to get. So that's good. You kind of seem to be limiting yourself to that. All right, I'll go a little bit faster here. Interior post office conveyor system. Letters and packages travel along a maze of conveyors. So we went from an AA community building to a post office. One package has an unusual appearance. Duct tape wraps the package in multiple directions, and the surface contains several hand-drawn stars. An employee inspects the package, but she fails to find an address label. It's deposited on the dead letter conveyor. Is there like a sign? I would want to see how, like, show us what that, like, because I can't really visualize it. I mean, I guess.
It just it's deposited on a conveyor belt beneath a sign saying dead letter or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess they would do something, but, like, I wouldn't know how I would, like, see that fact. So, like, without, like, I would have to think, like, oh, I guess there's a sign over it.
Yeah.
So, like, either there is, or maybe there's some other distinguishing, or it's, like, going into, like, a recycle bin. Hey, bookfish. No worries.
It's nice of you.
Yeah. Let the poor soul sleep. Their attention, okay. Small crowds of people stand in driveways. This is less than a middle-class neighborhood. Their attention is focused on a police car that leaves the area with a disheveled woman in the back seat. So we jumped to a neighborhood now. So it's going to be a lot of scene jumps. Big scene jumps. For 14. Setup, yeah.
Looks like it's jumping again down there.
Yeah, which I mean, like I get the sense there's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, it's hard to kind of find that traction early on in the story. Small crowds of people stand in driveways in this less than middle class neighborhood. Their attention is focused on a police car. 12-year-old boy in a winter coat stands in front of another police car as he holds a small dog. Oh, the camera's shaking.
It does a little bit.
Maybe I'll eventually. I can probably actually stream from like my TV on my bed and just like have a camera on top of
That'd
it.
be sweet.
So maybe. Because I have a wireless keyboard now. Upgrade my setup.
Yeah.
The attention is focused on a police car that leaves the area with a disheveled woman in the back seat. Okay. Don't worry, Eric. We'll take care of you. 12-year-old boy stands in front of a police car, holds a small dog. Looks really sad. Precinct. And its produced a great deal of activity. A large male detective sits at the table facing an internal affairs officer.
How do you know?
A large male detective sits at the table facing internal affairs officer.
How do you know it's an internal affairs officer?
Ooh, actually, that's a good call. Maybe they'll see it. I don't know. Which is page 2. How do we know it's my officer? Badge. Remember. Yeah, that's one of the big writing revelations I had a while ago. Types with passion, indeed. That's one of the big writing revelations I had was like one of the most useful ways of describing your character to make them memorable is what they're wearing. Because it's two things. One is it gives you a visual, and then two, it suggests who they are, right? Because like if you're wearing like an old if I'm wearing like an old jacket that seems like really ratty, but I've had it forever, that means I'm sentimental. But then it also gives you that visual, right? So then it means like, oh, this person is someone who would save their jacket. So those types of things like can be really, really like if I see like a lady with holding a soccer ball with like a headband on and spandex like jumpsuit, it's like a soccer mom. So those types of things can be like really, really helpful in kind of connecting the dots. And that's one of the things here where, like, I bet you if you used an IA officer and he's like holding his badge proudly, we would know that, hey, maybe this guy's really cocky as well as being an IA officer. So use what they're wearing to kind of expand. And so that was a good note. Good spot on foxes. That's why we need the fox. Yeah, that's with passion, indubitably. Okay. Don't you worry, Eric. We'll take care of you. The precinct just suck. The
detective seemed respectful.
Oh yeah, thank you. And yet detached from the proceedings, the police officer stands in the corner of the room as he watches intently. While this meeting may have been merely a formality, there is a concern with your account of the sequence of events and the apparent use of excessive force. Detective Knox, you left one individual completely unrecognizable and broke the neck of another in such a manner as to prompt the coroner to write, the structure of the vertebral vertebrae resembled the contents of a child's pixie stick. Knox, that's special. Those guys, it's a long line of dialogue. And you can see just reading it aloud, and that's why it's always good to do it, it's dialogue. Okay, you want to be that police officer?
Yes. Knox, that's special. Those guys are really inspired to produce such visual imagery.
Listen, under the circumstances, no one can blame you. Frankly, I can't imagine. Your record is flawless. Your previous contributions to this unit have been exemplary. There won't be any further investigation on this incident. You've intimated that you intend to leave the Force Detective Knox. I hope you reconsider. We need you here. We've been through so much, but I'm asking you to stay on.
That's
So
a
another
long
long line of dialogue. And then we'll do X2 and a bit on the nose. So the way to write that not on the nose would be to say something more informal, right? Like, so there, people usually talk around the problems. So it'd be like, here you're thinking about quitting to write that novel. And then they'll be like, I've thought about it, sure. And then it'd be like, it's a tough industry. Hard to get a good job out there. A lot more security here. Like, they're trying to convince them to stay, but with like a lot more talking around it.
Yeah.
So like using a fact to talk around to like leverage their point is really helpful. So like, hey, the fact is this guy wants to quit and write a novel. So then they all talk about that fact and how it relates to what they're trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a really helpful tool in dialogue writing, that it looks like, because I even saw some of the shorter lines earlier with like the, which is what we were saying, like, hey, this could be on the nose unless you're wanting it to be. It looks like it is, like when we were talking to that lady where she's saying, I feel like really depressed, all this stuff, and like the support group. It's kind of what I would expect someone in a support group to say. Doesn't really surprise me. So then those are two kind of like, if I'm saying something that's expected, unsurprising, and what I'm thinking, that doesn't really mimic much of human interactions, because so many times I don't really say what I'm thinking. I talk around it, or, and if people are really that blunt, they would sometimes be in trouble.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird here. The guy doesn't respond. It's like he's saying all this stuff, like, I'm asking you to leave or stay, like, blah, 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 blah. He's annoyed, and then the police officer doesn't respond. It just moves on to the next scene.
Yeah, and I think he's talking, I don't know who he's talking to. A large male detective sits at the table.
The internal affairs officer.
So what the internal facing officer is talking to the detective. But I would also give your characters names at this point. Give your characters names at this point. No mystery if they have more than, 2 lines. Like, just say who they are, unless it's like really important.
Well, like, see here, after this big line, it switches to another scene. It doesn't respond.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
I think it's just jumping around a lot.
Yeah. I still don't know who.
Yeah, 2 lots all jumping around. Yeah. So we're homies. Yeah. Okay.
Exterior.
Of the building proudly displays the marquee for Summit Gym. Several boxing rings and top-notch training equipment litter the expansive interior. Large banners like the walls with images of Arlo, the devil's proctologist. Canavan holding up a championship belt over his head in triumph. One banner shows a smug Arlo putting a surgical glove on his right hand. Arlo spars with another boxer in a secluded ring in the rear of our facility. Trainers, sparring partners, and a few entourage members surround the ring. Trainer 1 yelling, "Move it quicker, Arlo." Arlo peppers his opponent with multiple punches and easily dodges the return assault. Trainer 1 continued, "You look like S." Arlo produces a combination of punches that sends the opponent to the canvas. So another, like, a lot of context changes without really much to get our grip on. We're on page 3, and we've been through, like, 4 different events, right? Like, one is, and maybe it'll all tie together, and it'll be like, holy smokes. But one is, like, the support group. 2 was the kid. 3 was the cops. There was another one in there, too. Yeah. I forgot what it was. But you can see I'm starting to lose track, which is never good. And then the post office. Yeah. Starting to lose track. Forget facts. Pick the most important. Stick with it. Oops. I like trained myself to impulsively like save every time I finish.
That's right.
It's probably a Yay! What's up, Majin Buu? So today we're looking at Burn On It, and right now jump to we just actually were thinking about it. It was first it was a support session Then there was something getting misplaced at the post office.
No, there was a kid in there too.
And then there was a kid that was talking with the cops. And then there was...
Post office.
And then the cop getting a promotion. Or
Cop
this guy's trying to keep him in
getting-
his job. So a lot of
Now we're
jumping
at a
around.
gym.
And now we're at a boxing gym. Several boxing rings. So the writing's really good, but I think it just needs that focus. Yeah. Yeah, so move it quicker, Arlo. You look like S. Arlo produces a combination of punches and sends an opponent to the canvas. Trainer 1 shakes his head in disgust and leaves the area. Trainer 1, yelling. That kind of effort won't be enough. You'd be better effing bring it tomorrow. You look fat and slow. Arlo seems unconcerned by Trainer 1's comments as he leans again. Seems misspelling, but also, you know, I would not use seems or looked like or those softer verbs that commit to it. And Arlo smiles unconcernedly, whatever. Or Arthur is unconcerned by trailer 1. Also show it, because yeah, and you
Hard
can
to tell.
Yeah, how does that look?
Unconcerned, like rolling their eyes. It's always one.
Yeah. Does he roll their eyes? Like, don't make the reader do the work of visualizing that moment. What does cool. A collection of kids shout out to get Arlo's attention as they're held at bay. He waves to the onlookers as Trainer 2 removes his gloves. Arlo signs the autographs and poses for pictures with the kids. The crowd disperses Trainer 2. As the crowd disperses the young boy over to Arlo. You Trainer 2?
This my sister's boy.
Didn't have too much to. Yeah. Well, hopefully this is this will help you catch up on the Twitch or on the Scriptshadow reading.
Yeah.
These were, I thought, the two best log lines probably. So.
Yeah. This my sister's boy.
Arlo speaks with a British accent. What's your name, kid?
Winston.
Winston, are you sure? Sure you want to hang out here? Sounds like you belong at a country club or something. Listen, you can hang here for a couple of hours after school if you fancy, but you've got to go to school, right?
Yeah.
You need to stay in school. I already got enough dumb guys.
Weird lines for like a British accent.
Yeah, and that's just, it seems like, yeah. Do a dialogue pass. Yeah, let me do overall. I'm just going to start putting a few of the big ones. Choppy scenes. Jumping from too many places. Can't get our footing as a reader. And like, think about just implementing maybe like, you know, we talked through a few of those techniques to make dialogue a little bit stronger, which is like have them talk around something. You know, don't have them say exactly what's on their mind.
Also, you might be thinking of a Cockney accent. I think that would be more fitting for the dialogue there. But
Not the snobby.
Yeah. Like, Winston, sure you want to hang here? Sounds like you belong at a country club or something. Listen, you can hang here for a couple hours after school if you fancy. But you got to go to school, right?
Oh, that's actually better.
Yeah,
there you go.
see?
I'll let you voice him then.
Yeah.
Much better. Didn't much. With the script had turned out, that's just super dog sessions earlier. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
it's actually
good,
it's good.
It's
like
writing
it's a good
overall.
setup and it's kind of fascinating. But there is like a few of those, like name your characters, kind of that stuff that usually is. Thankfully, it's very fixable stuff, but still is stuff to be aware of when you're sending your script out. So yeah.
You need to stay in school. I already got enough dumb guys.
Yeah, I think Cockney's better than British. Arlo points to the collection of people sitting against their wall. They immediately play along and begin crossing their eyes and picking their noses and scratching their butt.
We need to go up the intelligence level. We need to up the intelligence level around here. So you stay in school.
Okay, post office day. Snow blows in the parking lot. Post office, private office day. Shelves filled with dozens of phone books and numerous reference materials line the walls of this small office. Various envelopes and packages sit on top of two large tables which consume most of the available floor space. Tina enters the room and hangs her head on the camera positioned over the
so
door.
at least we're bringing Tina back. That's good.
That's good. She hastily scans the hallway and behind her, closing the office door. Be careful with repeated words. I think we had door here. I won't write it again because that was up earlier, but just beware. Tina searches with the piles of letters and removes the package with duct tape and stars. Cautiously, she cuts the tape and opens the package to reveal a small, finely crafted wooden box. She stares at it like it's a ticking time bomb. Post office day. Tina stands alone while smoking a cigarette in a designated area. The large American sedan from the mid-'80s eases into view. Quickly, the woman removes the wooden box from her shoulder bag, and she gives it to the driver, who remains at the scene. This is stupid. You're taking the wrong path. You have to consider the consequences. The vehicle slowly drives away.
Mystery box?
Yeah, there you go. Good mystery box. Put that in. Gotta applaud the good as well. What's in it?
Yeah.
Nice accent.
Thanks.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, we had a note about that earlier.
Indeed.
I know, I'm the same. I was like, wrong. Some people are like very lax about it. I'm like, no, it has to be you are. It's you are.
Your?
Some people
Your?
don't care, but no. My what?
Your?
My what?
You're going. It's your going.
But it's my. I'm not going. It's not my going.
It's your going.
It's my going.
It's your going. Okay. Vehicle slowly drives away. Dilapidated house day. BMW parked in a two-track driveway with a small isolated house. BMW day. Realtor sits in his car and he talks on his cell phone. On the phone. No, the place on Duxbury. Yeah, my boss wants to tear it down. Out of the blue, she gets a call. This guy wants to rent it. Place should be condemned. It's nasty. So again, pretty overt exposition. Very overt exposition with no conflict. And that's probably what will help a lot of this dialogue. Conflict slash, using, yeah, but you really want to get that conflict in, because this will be pure exposition unless it's coming out in a scene, so that's what they say. Conflict plus exposition is drama, right? So it's like something's conflicting, and you're learning about the situation, and that's really what drama is. So it's good you have the learning part. Definitely want to infuse some sort of dynamic action. Place should be condemned. It's nasty. She wouldn't get within a mile of it. Credit's crazy, though. Large American sedan from the post office creeps into the view. Oh, the guy's here. We'll get together tonight. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to use a British... I got to keep using my British accent, I guess.
Like a German accent.
German accent. That'll be the next script. It's post-apocalyptic world. I assume only the Germans survived.
Yeah.
They're
and the
so
Danish.
They're so industrious. They're so industrious. The bald man and the Danish. The bald man. The bald man next to his car. The bald man stands next to his car, a large old car. Indelibly punctuates the top. Large old scar indelibly punctuates the top of his head. So I'm getting the sense this guy was a novel writer or a short story writer, and he's starting screenplays for the first time. That's what my gut is. That's how this reads.
Yeah.
A bald man stands next to his car. A large old scar indelibly punctuates the top of his head. He wears an old army jacket, but using stuff like punctuation. Really good action dialogue. So that's usually the novelists, right? It's the action lines are read great, super smooth, and then these things are wait, the dialogue's kind of funky. Because novelists don't have to worry about dialogue as much because they can carry it with action and visuals. Large old scar, but you should you should still make it as good as possible. Wears an old army jacket. His face remains unseen as he patiently waits for the realtor, who collects documents in the back of his car. Realtor finds a contract and sorts through the forms. Hey, it's good you called when you did. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep this little gem away from the wrecking ball, but I guess there's a place for every... The realtor takes the first look at the bald man, and he fails to conceal his horrified expression. Oh, wow, I'm sorry, I looked right at the sun. Wow. The realtor fumbles for his sunglasses on the top of his head and puts them in the proper position, even though the sun is at his back. So you probably want to take a look inside. paperwork.
It's like he's scary or something.
Yeah.
We haven't seen his face yet.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
But that's a little on the nose. Oh wow, I'm sorry. Like.
Yeah, I think the dialogue just needs a lot of work. I want to add another note for that.
Yeah.
That's
I'll just have
pretty
him like kind of
indicative.
like gasp and like.
Maybe like,
or
oh
something.
god, clarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think you're trying to hold back a lot. I think that's really what's happening. Is I think the writer is like, I want this to be like mysterious, enthralling. So you're holding stuff back, like the bald man's face, the box, all this stuff, which is good. But eventually, you just need to get a story started. And right now, there's just all these disparate pieces that I don't see coming together yet. Okay, limousines shuttle people interested in the impressive facility. Numerous dining tables surround the dance floor of this black tie affair. Band plays an up-tempo song beneath a sign that reads 34th Annual Police Officers Charity Ball. A large chair for Santa Claus sitting next to a finely decorated Christmas tree. So a lot of stuff. I think that's really one of the things, and this is something I'm learning in my own writing. It's sort of exhausting, yeah. This is one of the things I'm learning in my own writing, right, is you have to have something that you set up that familiar scene, and then you have to have something that, like, turns it on its head, and, like, you know, even, like, once your readers start yawning.
I didn't notice.
That's okay. but that's actually really, really interesting. It's like set up the, you know, let's say we go to that beginning scene where they're in a support group, and the support group girl's talking about her feelings, and someone's like, it's okay, Tina. But what if someone's like, no, Tina, you're an idiot. Shut up and stop whining. Like, people would be like, whoa, what? Like, what? And then you would read at least to see what happens, because now is Tina going to retaliate? And then you have uncertainty, because you're putting the reader in a situation they don't expect. Because they're like, well, Tina going to get pissed? Is she going to get defensive? Is the teacher going to stand up and be like, Bob, that's enough from you? And that's even a cliche moment, because people have done that surprise moment before, where someone yells in, like, a support group. But then maybe it's the teacher. Like, you know, like, and then maybe he's, like, the cult. Like, who knows? Like, you know, then you have this, then you have this, you know, I don't know, but, like, you know, that's kind of where you want to get. A little purple is the problem. Finally, they're going to be cut. Yeah, little things can be tweaked, get the prose moving quicker. Yeah, and I think you're hitting on a good note, Majin Buu, which is that, you know, a lot of this feels like it's, you know, a novel writer, which is one of the struggles of someone who is, which is interesting, because now switching from screenplays to novels, which is what I'm doing, I'm finding that you do have to build more stuff. Then screenplays can be much leaner as far as scene. All right, let's keep moving here. Give it a rest, Manhattan. Middle-aged man.
Give us Washburn.
Or you can be detective, yeah. Give it a West Washburn. Another middle-aged man approaches.
Detective Rowland, good to see you.
The two men shake hands. Graham.
How's your ear?
Detective Rowland shrugs his shoulders. You found the will to peel yourself away from the south of France, or did you return to collect more tears from your disillusioned workers to fuel your yacht? Graham laughs and slaps Detective Rowland's back.
Your cantankerous spirit always amuses me. I could never miss this. This is special with the kids.
The assistant waits to Graham to come from the room. Your accent's killing me right now.
In fact, it looks like it's time for me to get into character.
I like it.
I know. I should really be an actress or something.
Let's do a back of the hand applause.
Yes.
Yeah, the bus stops in front of the ballroom. The side of the bus has Graham Evans Orphanage Foundation painted on the side. It introduces Graham. We should have Graham. Yeah. Concur. Go like this. The carrots above. No, it's true, and I think a lot of it is just introduce. It unless it is.
It seems like he doesn't really know the screenplay style very well
Yeah,
yet. Like, I think he has good skill, but
yeah,
needs to just kind of figure out how to turn it into a screenplay.
Screenplays to see format and style. It's what I did. You got to put your time in.
Yeah, I think it's better than it's better than a lot, but
yeah, it has actually a better start than some of the ones that are better formatted.
Mm-hmm.
But the formatting will become a distraction. I think the thing that you would want to do, pick the core story because you think you have like 3 or 4 ones going. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we'll keep going. Graham's Event, Orphanage Foundation, pinning on the side.
Is that where we were?
Yeah. So
oh,
he's
yeah,
like getting the
cool.
character. Stops at the ballroom. Orphanage. They're going to. Graham Evans wears a Santa Claus suit, sits in the chair next to a tree. Long line of children wait to sit on his lap. Elves prepare to distribute lavish presents. Santa bounces the child on his lap. Everyone thoroughly enjoys the experience. Captain finishes his speech.
I'm captain?
Yeah, you can. You're the captain.
And we want to thank Graham Evans for his continued support. This special event wouldn't be possible without you, Graham. Thank you.
I like your captain accent. That's very nice.
Yeah.
The people, you should just talk like that all the time.
Of course, darling. Whatever you say.
Thank you. The people attendants graciously applaud. Extremely glorious night. A large brick home sits in a beautiful neighborhood. An ivy-covered fence with an ornate iron gate.
There's still more characters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just trimming.
Who are we
Let's see. What's fascinating is it's only 90 pages. Yeah, if you can't ask that question, you don't know. It's only 90 pages and it jumps around this much. So, I mean, you're like 12% of the screenplay through, and you're still doing the setup work. It's a bit worrisome. A large brick home sits in a beautiful neighborhood. Interior of the home finally complements its exterior. The furniture and artwork suggest occupants possess higher education and erudite culture. It's like really well written. Like that's a very good setup. But I think the challenge is some of the screenplay format is off, but it's really this jumpiness is gonna definitely hurt. The screenplay formatting aside, the story itself won't work. Like who cares? You can fix formatting, but the story will break if you jump around this much and you have this many characters with no really leg for the reader to get hooked in on.
Mm-hmm.
The man in his late 40s sits in his chair in the middle of the room and folds laundry from the mountain of clothes. Woman 2 enters the room carrying an overfull basket. That's the last of it, but there's still dishes too. There's just not enough time in our schedules, Walt. I'm glad you're back, but I'm burned out. And also the dialogue will definitely hurt your story. I mean, it's good you're telling us their goal. Like, I'm burned out. Like, at least we get that, because sometimes you don't. But very, very on the nose. And I won't, I guess I can add another note. I've already mentioned it a few times. Hang in there, beautiful. We'll get through it. You know what you need? Control of volume. I need a little of this. Doctor's orders. He quickly removes his wife's mood with a series of ridiculous and embarrassing dance moves.
It's like a cute scene, but who are these people?
Yeah, that's a great action. I think that's a great distinct note, right? Cute scenes.
I feel like there's been so many characters. Like at this point, I'm like,
and drama scenes.
I don't think I need to care. Like almost only like 2 of the characters that we've met have appeared again so far. So I'm assuming I'm never going to see these people again, and it just is really.
Yeah. We don't care.
We don't know how they tie into anybody. Like, at least, if they do tie in, at least give, like, a hint of it. Because then you'll be like, oh, okay, so, like, have her be on the phone with her sister Tina, or be like, oh, yeah, I saw Graham today, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's different, but...
No, I think that's...
connected.
I just take notes of what she says, because she's usually right. And she's absolutely right. And that's such a good way to phrase it, right? It's like you don't care about people. Hey, darkness in the blood.
Hello.
Yeah. Needed to find a protagonist. Exactly. I mean, and this is like even, something that it's kind of crazy, Majin Buu, I think, because I know, even, as we were talking through your script, right, where it's, I think it was the earlier one where it took us a while. It was the first one we read a few months, like a month ago, where it took us a little while to get the protagonist, and you did have a protagonist, but it's kind of fascinating when you read someone else's work, and some of those similar, issues are there, and you're like, come on, like, you kind of feel that ache of, like, who do I care about? Who do I care about? Start to a Columbo episode. Yeah. I never watched Columbo, but I will thumbs up that. But it's fascinating, right? Like, and it's like how much people. The only way you get to plot is through character. The only way you get to plot is through character. So you have to have someone that I care about and can relate to, because all I as the reader want to do is put my perspective into somebody and then live that plot. So the plot does matter the most, but the character needs to be impeccably built out and built out really early. Cover there should be another 5 pages before the beginning ends, even before the protagonist shows up, but we're attached ourselves to the antagonist first at least. Yeah. Interesting. We should watch Columbo. Maybe we'll do I'll download a script of it. I can download a script. A lot more exposition early can work if the detail becomes important later on. It's true, but I think...
But there's the antagonist.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reader... So there's probably a few things. So I agree. I think exposition still needs to be couched in conflict. So even if... So, like, exposition with, like, you know, people fighting works... Exposition like this, where it's like, I'm tired. Oh, it's okay, hang in there. That won't work because there's nothing pulling me forward. There's no uncertainty. So, like, the thing that makes those mysteries work, like exposition like this, like, hey, how are you? I am fine. I am good. We're about to be Santa Claus. That will never work as a setup on its own. Exposition where it's like somebody yelled at a lady, or like, you know, like, what if one of these guys that kills the other one? Now I care because I'm like, whoa, like, what happened? So you have to have that set uncertainty. Yeah, in detective serial format, yeah. And Columbo's first act is someone murdering someone else. The rest of the episode is Columbo investigating the crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a show like that, the exposition must build suspensefully. Yeah, true. Indeed. And I think Columbo, too, was tricky because from what I've heard of it, from how you described it, is they do that inverse format where they, like, show the murderer and then he has to go figure it out. Mm-hmm. But it's also...
It's pretty common nowadays.
Something to think about is Columbo was made quite some time ago, and, you know, with how the internet and how, you know, modern technology has affected our brains, we're looking for that thing we want very early. When the thing we want as readers is the protagonist that I can care about. And a surprising situation. So you have to have such a strong hook from page one, and it has to be usually involving the protagonist. I would say 9 out of 10 screenplays should start with the protagonist from page one. Only like 1 out of 10 doesn't need it, or would have to have another setup. But that's maybe overgeneralization, but I would just be really careful. But yeah, anyways, this one I'm probably going to call it at page 10. Mm-hmm. But great job overall. I mean, I think the good stuff, great writing. I mean, that was super clear. That was pretty clear. That was clear. You know, set up and mystery boxer is...
Oh, I only saw the box in one scene.
Yeah, that's true.
Comes back, but...
Though it was just barely. Prove, you know, I think the...
Cut stuff down.
Get a protagonist. And early, fix the... use conflict to sharpen. Yeah. Conflict in every scene. Every single one. Even if it's just who's going to drive or who's going to choose someplace for dinner and they're fighting over it. I don't care. I do not care. I want conflict in every scene. Anyways. That's my stern reminder.
He means it.
I mean business. Lemon Seed Link were the first people to do that with Columbo. Yeah, exactly. About the protagonist we care about early. TV has been a benefit of the main character already being known by the audience. Yeah, that's actually true. Did not introduce Columbo first. They solidified the format of murder first. Interesting.
It's recent, like, Supernatural does that a lot, where they just start with, like...
The supernatural phenomenon.
What's that?
Like the
No,
phenomenon.
the show Supernatural.
Oh.
I mean, from the very beginning, it pretty much starts with like, I mean, maybe not the first episode, but a lot of episodes start with just like two teens driving down the street and like,
Yeah.
you know, them crashing and you don't know what happens, and then they go and solve it and figure out how they got there.
But the immediate next thing is protagonist, and it's like
Yeah.
usually pretty quick. And what's fascinating is I bet you I voted for Pontiff No Return. Nice. One thing I bet is if you compare the length of the intros in Columbo. So I do. So I used to work in LA doing script review and editing. So then I figured for fun would do what I normally did. I'm not writing it out in like development edit format because that's just a pain in the ass. I don't want to summarize it or read the whole thing. But I'm walking you through my thoughts as if I were editing this. What would be going through my head as I was editing it to write a development edit or a development like treatment.
I just edit for logic and how it sounds.
Yeah, she's just smart.
Yeah.
And she's
I think I have an ear for how things sound better. It's like my talent.
Yeah, but I bet you Majin Buu, if you look at Columbo, yeah, the first acts were all around 15. Yeah, but I mean even proportional difference. Which I think is actually kind of interesting. You'd probably see the Supernatural ones are a lot shorter and punchier. Mm-hmm. They're probably like 2 pages max. Mm-hmm. I bet. If you look at their screenplays, because we're a more ADD audience to do novels. I didn't professionally do novels. Happy to help edit a novel, but I'm writing a novel. Yeah.
Started the second draft.
Just starting the second draft, so I'll probably be streaming some of that either later tonight or tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after you're off to bed. The stream's nice because it keeps me accountable because I know people are like, "Hey, where's your, why you can't surf Facebook when you're streaming." It's one of those blessings.
It covers a lot of characters. Yeah, but there's the 2 main characters for the most part.
Yeah.
Like those are the foundation, and they have a lot of like characters who come in and out. But there's always like the brothers, and their relationship is definitely.
I think the cool thing.
They are the problem solvers.
I think the thing that I love about television is that you have so much more time to develop a characters, and the same with novels too.
That's why I love it.
Because and this is the same with like novels or series of novels. Because it sounds like Darkness and Blood. It sounds like you probably are more of a novel writer. But the thing that like you'll find with novels that's really fascinating is you have more time to fully develop. Because to develop a character arc, you frankly need time. You just need time. And the problem with features is you only have 90 pages to 110. That is not much time. So you really, in a feature, you have time to develop 1, maybe 2 characters fully. And the only time you really develop 2 characters is your protagonist and your antagonist, or it's a love story where they're both each other's protagonist and antagonist.
Or I think the only time it would be 2 protagonists is like 2 brothers or something.
Yeah, or it's like a buddy comedy, or it's like a buddy film,
like 2 brothers who've like been estranged and then or something like that.
But then that's a love story format, which you're right, which is or
it could be protagonist antagonist to a certain extent.
Yeah, and like one of the brothers is estranged, and that's maybe what we will see in Walk Across the Desert. But I imagine the other brother's gonna be more of a mystery in that one, if I'm guessing based off the log line. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump across. But yeah, I think the problem is when you only have 90 pages, you have to start with your protagonists and you have to start developing them because the first 15 pages needs to be about that character before. Who they are before they go through the most... Because the story is the most crazy thing that's happened to this person in their entire life. So like, who were you before you went through your most horrifying experience? That's what the first 10 pages are about. So if you don't ever show them in it, you're gonna have problems.
It's like a picture. Plus, it when we've gone through like Save the Cat, it's like the theme very quickly.
Yeah.
And a picture of like their world before, and then you drop a bomb on them, and then you just see how they react in the new world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to show who they are, they have to have somewhere to change from, and if you're not establishing that in the first 10 pages, when are you going to do it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The next
Just,
15
like,
pages,
throw it
then what were
in
the first 10
somewhere.
pages? Then it's like, well, what's all that crap for if it's not to show me who this character was before
Yeah, and I'm
he
sure
goes on
one
the
of those
adventure?
characters is the protagonist, but
Ooh,
we
we
don't know
started a
which one.
gentleman's club. I like it already.
What? Oh. Jeffrey, give me your hand.
It's shame. Shame.
Shame.
Shame.
Ding, ding, ding.
Watching
Shame.
too much Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones did start with like that intro, but the next scene is like Ned Stark, who is our setup
What
protagonist
was
from the
the
beginning.
intro? Oh yeah, the
The monsters killing the guys north of the wall, finding
Yeah.
finding the
But then it
people at
jumps
the wall.
in, yeah.
But he also is a masterful storyteller. So I always tell you it's all good.
Little burp.
Every character you add is a level of complexity exponential. So I have one character, it's 10 complexity. I have two characters, it's 100 complexity. I have three characters, it's 1,000 complexity. I have four characters, it's 10,000 complexity. And George R. R. Martin has been writing had written years before he started
15
Game of
characters.
Thrones. Years before he started Game of Thrones, though. But he'd written comic books, he was very successful, and he was a paid writer before he ever wrote the first page of Game of Thrones. So he had been doing it for forever and had become a master. Yeah, exactly. But that was that mystery setup. So he is using a mystery, because that's usually the mystery format, is you have the murder and then you go back and solve it. So he's using that mystery setup for his world, which was a smart move. But just the fact that he manages so many characters is absolutely...
And then he gets the story pretty fast after that.
Yeah, and then it's pretty much all about those characters and who they are and what's going on in King's Landing. And yeah.
Here we go, Gentleman's Club.
Introduces the whites, which is...
Scratching post, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, the primary driving thing, exactly.
Yep, I'm going to do the up arrows again. 3 of them, 4 of them more. Because you have to have that set up. But then he does it shortly. He only uses one chapter.
Yeah.
And then he's right back to the characters, which are amazingly well developed. Every single one of them is brilliant. So, good for him.
It takes him like 8 years to write a book.
Yeah, that's insane. I gotta give him props for that. I'm struggling with
hurry
like
along
a few
with
years.
the next one. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm like counting the days. Okay, cool. Walk across the sun. Let's go.
It's Jeffrey's Scratching Post Gentleman's Club. Oh, Jeffrey.
In Barstow, California.
No.
Oh, shame on me. Shame. Dancing? A rundown strip club? Yeah, that sounds like my kind of jam. Just kidding. Rundown strip club off a rundown street in a rundown town. Neon lights cover the red barn house, bringing a bit of Vegas to the middle of nowhere. It's as if... Excuse me. Jeez, I guess it must have been all that soda.
Yeah, me too. It's as if this exotic watering hole drained every bit of energy from the pitch black town. Kind of hard to visualize.
Yeah, that is kind of tricky. I'll do a little hard to visualize.
Not terrible, but...
I mean, it is a bit heavy on telling, which is like, rundown street, rundown bar. Thanks for the follow, not Daenerys.
Not who?
Not Daenerys.
Daenerys Targaryen?
Yeah, that's just ironically weird talking about Game of Thrones. So, muchachos Garcias. Okay. Neon lights cover the red barn house. Kane, 20, approaches the establishment. His van's loafers crunch into the sands, overtaking the asphalt. He wipes the... She's like, that's the only reason you got to follow.
Yeah.
He wipes his dirty hands and his tattered jeans, a nervous tick. Yeah. Say it.
Do you have to say a nervous tick? Can you just have him doing it a couple times? But I like that they showed like what he wears and that he has a nervous tick.
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But is it okay to say a nervous tick? I don't know if it's telling.
I think it is in screenplay format because you can expect the actor. So I think in screenplays you can get away with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of telling around character. But
I liked it for the most part.
I would still show it's nervous. Like he and his hands like twitch as he's doing it. He wipes his dirty hands on his tattered jeans and he like muscles his fingers a few times. Whatever that is, like.
Maybe he's like looking around like.
And then he does it again immediately after. He wipes his hands again.
Like he looks over his shoulders and watches his fingers. Something like that.
Like so, I would still.
Does it often.
Yeah, I would actually still agree with your note in this case, though overall you can sometimes. So he's doing it to try to exercise that rule. So he's trying to like say, hey, this would be a cue to the actor, but you haven't sold it yet. You haven't gotten actors.
T-I-C, not T-I-C-K.
Yeah, but you haven't sold it yet. You haven't gotten actors. So it's just like, you know what? Treat it almost like it is a novel where you're showing everything. It's all very visual, and then when it does get bought, it will have a better thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there she goes, him wiping his hands and his obsessive compulsive behavior. Yeah. Okay, if it's hate Asbury panhandlers inspired this song. This guy from San Francisco? Interior scratching post, gentleman's club, continuous. The inside's no better than the shell. The velvet-coated walls weighed down with moisture coming off the rough-looking women working the stage or patrons' laps. That looks like a run-on sentence.
Yeah.
That is definitely a run-on sentence.
Velvet-coated walls weighed down with the moisture coming off the working this. Yeah, there's no ending.
Or it's a fragment. Wait.
It's a fragment.
Yeah, it's a fragment. Okay, I knew something was wrong.
It's about the walls and it never finishes.
Okay, page 1, fragment. Shame. I'm just kidding. No. Ensure grammar is on point on page 1. On fleek. What is that from? Where did that come from? I just see it on Instagram. Often wipes his hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kane shields his eyes from the light dancing on the disco ball overhead. It covers ears too, if he could. Motley Crue's "Girls, Girls, Girls" rattles every table in the place. I like that. Very visual. I like that. Good writing style. Scenes are engaging. I feel it's going somewhere.
No.
What?
Momentarily blind and begging to be deaf. No.
What do we say?
Show don't tell.
Yeah. How do I see that he's blind? So this is the trick that I'm learning that you can sometimes get away with in novels. Two girls like carrying balls. Oh, that's a great way to get. How do I do this? There's a band or something. Boop, band. Shame, shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shouldn't post specific song title. That's true, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it depends. If he's doing it for a specific effect, you can, but it's every time you do that, a production company cringes because they know they're gonna have to buy the rights to the song. So usually, it's usually kind of like an amateur mistake if you have a lot of specific songs. So you can do like ominous music plays, or you can do like trashy rocks plays. Yeah. But when you mention a specific song, you're just telling your production company you're gonna have to shell out like 10 G's to like freaking Motley Crue's like overall net worth, whatever the hell they have. Fun. Yeah, it's a risk. I should put that in though. I think he's right. Mentioning specific songs unless you own the rights. Okay. Yeah, this is plot necessary. Yeah. Okay, cool. Velvet coated. I could be Daenerys, not Daenerys. I could be. Yeah, and then cool.
About the moisture?
So I went to school for entertainment writing, and our instructors always drove into our heads. The description couldn't contain action that can't be filmed by the camera.
Yeah, show don't tell.
Yeah.
He'd cover his ears too if he could. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's okay to include it anyways? So I think you have to think about why, right? So if you're going to include a grace note like that, so this is what I kind of interrupted myself, but in novel writing you can get away with it because you can characterize the character's thoughts, which is what this is. Your job in screenwriting is to visualize the character's thoughts through action and dialogue, and that's your job. And the actors will express it to a degree, but I think you would be taking a risky step. And if you were going to, let's say, so I went to, let's say you were going to include it anyways, you would just want to know why, and you would want to have a really damn good reason. And as a writer, you would have to say, legitimately aloud to yourself, I'm including this because it communicates character and I need to have it, or whatever it is. You can't just throw it in there and not think about it. Like, it has to be a conscientious decision every time you make a move like that in screenplay format. In novels, no. In novels, it's characterization. You can get away with it.
Yeah.
Different literary form. Screenplays, you're writing for a camera. You're not writing for anything else. Written 2 scripts based on advance. The actual cost of songs is something I know about. Yeah. Then those are called unfilmables. Yeah. So in terms of word economy, it's probably better to either omit the line. Exactly.
Yeah, visualize
yeah,
it.
True. Visualize. I actually like that term, the unfilmables. Oops, I'm in caps lock.
You want one? I like that unfilmable moment.
Yeah. That's actually a really good. I guess it's its name. I never learned it over the years. What the F do you want? Whiskey. All right, you can be Kane. Yeah.
You go.
What the F do you want?
Whiskey.
Whiskey ain't cheap. Knowing what he's getting at, Kane and claps a watch from his wrist. He drops it on the bar beneath Rawls' salivating gaze. A bit on like the vague side of telling, but it works.
This guy also seems like he writes novels.
Yeah, this is also a novel writer. Because you can see this baby down here.
Ooh.
This is novel writer right here. This big old chunk of action.
Woo.
It's okay, I feel you, buddy. I'm switching.
Me too. I couldn't.
I started in film and I'm going to novels, so I'm sure a bunch of novelists will read and be like, novelists will read my novel and be like, this sounds like some chump from screenplays got into writing novels. They'll say the inverse for me. It sounds like a screenwriter who started trying to write novels.
Look at this guy's showing everything.
Just
tell me something.
Just tell me that. Actually, it's fascinating. As I'm writing a novel, I find it very hard for me to do the character's internal dialogue because I'm so used to having to visualize everything. So it's actually like I don't really know how to. So I've been reading a lot of novels to see how they do it, and I take notes on it. So you actually should do your research, right? It's just like any other craft. So there's methods, and you can usually find tricks as to what they do. More updates as I read more novels and take more notes. Knowing what he's getting at, Kane unclaps the watch from his wrist. He drops it on the bar beneath Rawls' salivating gaze. Raoul, who'd you steal it from? I don't need some a-hole hacking off my wrist to go with his missing Rolex.
It's legit, and I ain't attached to it. Sentimentally, that is. I'd be more attached to a double shot of whiskey, and I know that you know the watch is more than enough. This is very similar.
Verbose. Yeah, and this is something I always will say, like, and even for me, like, cause I'm an amateur writer, right? Like, I've done editing for, like, I get paid for that, but like for writing, I'm an amateur, so I have to make myself keep those lines under 4. It's just it's just a forcing mechanism. Make yourself do it. It will make your writing stronger. Whiskey's not cheap. Oh, it's post-apoc, dude. Read my book. Its main character is having soup in his head. Deal. I'll have to check it out. It's good to see. Like, it's good to see it. Like, you know, you just got to do the research, right? A lot of writers in my program had trouble switching from descriptive nature of prose to bare bones visual screenwriting. Depends on definitely a little long descriptive passages. Very unlike the other characters. On the nose drama, there could be actual. Yeah. Otherwise, the whole scene could be. Yeah, it's true. It is kind of on the nose. Try to bring.
I think there is conflict, right?
We'll see. It's like there is conflict, but I think it's playing out in kind of the expected way, which is even something I did in my novel, which is the trades the watch for the thing he wants.
I was gonna say it's very similar.
It's very very on fleek. Raul snatches the watch, turns it to the bottles. Thank you. Oh yeah. The men, trucker-looking dudes, getting either side of Kane, stare at the boy in silence. Kane disregards their interest and turns their attention to the crowd. Cellulite asses giggle in the faces of the rough-looking men. The place is a compilation of every type of Taylor trash. So I already know this, so make sure that I'm learning something new, especially with film. Because this is a technical document first and foremost, not a novel.
Okay, looking like the fourth member of ZZ Top
Top's
Motorboats, the bunched up tits of a lady resembling Mama June. Sounds like your kind of place.
Yeah, it sounds great. How do I get to this post-apocalyptic world? Sounds amazing. Kanye looks past it. Kane looks past it and all back to the booth. The older men and 3 teenage boys slept their drinks with a bubble of empty space between themselves and anyone else. The working girls seem to actively avoid these wannabe cowboys. Central man, the one who seems to be the leader.
Seems and seems.
Yeah, a lot of seems. Good call. You're like catching everything. Avoid.
Fleek.
Seems.
Whatever that means.
It is. You're the writer.
10 points to anybody who could tell me what on fleek means.
Yeah.
Out there.
What does on fleek mean, internet?
I'm old.
Yes, this guy says nothing except to watch the counter. Yeah. Removing dialogue is always better. That's actually really fascinating.
Yeah.
Thumbs up there. Oh, good thoughts. I actually really like that. Here's your sentimental value. Raul places a double shot in his bar in a stout glass. Kane turns the attention from the bar back booth to the whiskey. Much obliged. Kane tosses a shot back. Delicious.
That's
On
all it
point.
means. But where did it come
Yeah.
from? Fleek, like. It is you or a world.
It is your world.
Hmm?
I think it's the your, maybe.
Oh. Editing
the edits, yeah.
Oh.
Oh. It's your world. Oh, ooh, shame.
I missed it. Shame on me.
Shame.
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 Shame on me, I missed it.
Shame on you. Wipes his tongue with his hand. Case scrapes and takes it away. Turns back to the booth. Hooper's gone. A scan of the room catches a man on the way to the bathroom. Kane picks up an empty glass and follows him. Bathroom continuous. Pisses in the urinal. Moaning. The stream trickles out. Whistling. Once the flow is established, the tune flows. Burl Ivy's down the value. Yeah, beware the songs. Lee Van Cleef is a cool name, so why tell us? Maybe I missed a Lee Van Cleef. I'll keep looking. They may be reading ahead. Door creaks open behind him. Hooper doesn't turn, swaying in place with his drunkenness. His stream patters from the porcelain onto the tile. The same sentence.
Uh-oh.
I guess I got your... Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, actually, this one's right. It's you are the writer, and it is your world.
Yeah.
So I got one right, but I was 50%.
Put the word the.
Oh.
You are the writer.
Oh. Avoid seams. I think it was just a weird one. Must have not been paying attention. Be certain you're writing. Okay, cool. I didn't even finish the note. I got distracted. It is you are the writer. Yeah. Shame.
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 No, good bookfish.
Good bookfish. 10 points for bookfish. Red bookfish, blue bookfish.
Red bookfish, blue bookfish. Hang your head over, hear the wind blow, okay. Singer behind him joins in. Pisses on himself at the onset of the vocal accompaniment. He struggles to keep balance. He looks back. Hooper peters out, does the listening to ensure silent reflection in the mirror and tell. We should start a band, you and I. Hooper zips up, turns back to Kane.
I think we tried that once.
Crack. Hooper's head slams against the tile back in the urinal. As his head...
Where are you?
I'm just reading here. Bloodstained glass sprinkles out of his thin hair to the floor. Kane holds the remaining half of a stout whiskey glass, the thick bottom turned into a serrated edge. Hooper rests his brow against the wall. Blood streams from beneath his hair and down his neck. He speaks to the tile.
That's the thing about having kids. In the end, they find a way to kill you. Do it, Kane, before you lose your nerve and my patience.
Kane cocks a sharp glass base for another strike.
It'll never be more built up than this. It ain't never gonna be any easier. Trust me.
Kane breathes heavily. The glass-turned weapon poised.
Damn it, son.
Hooper quickly spins around, bringing his fist with him. Whack! The punch splits Kane's nose open and knocks him off balance. Hooper follows the strike, grabbing Kane at his neck. The remnants of the whiskey glass shatter on the floor. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And also avoid cut twos. Bad.
Shame.
Implied. Yeah, I know. Long, as a peach form. Long blocks of text are scary.
Yeah, here's a little dialogue, but it's not in dialogue.
To lazy readers. Also, sure all. And remove cut to. Implied. Yay. Okay, Kane, blood pours out of the wound, a forceful stream. Okay. Oh my gosh. Clinched, okay, swings around, standard door, splinters open, two fall back, some biker taking a crap. Hooper lands in the crapping man's lap, Kane mounted above them. Biker yells out in protest with things like, "Get the F off me," or "I'll effing kill you both." Smack. Kane lands a nice shot on Hooper's chin, dizzying him. Strike slams Hooper. Also, less than 4 lines here. Your action lines should be like 1 or 2. Page 4. It's like most of your action lines should be less than 3. Maximum is 4. 5 is way too long.
Like, Kane punches Hooper's chin. He grabs a piece of glass and slits Hooper's throat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, then King kills him.
Yeah,
Okay, so then he
here,
still kills
It
him?
says, with room to breathe, he plucks a single glass shard off the floor, plunges the piece into Hooper's neck, and slides it along his Adam's apple.
Hooper doesn't try to stop it, intends to the freshly fubby.
Yeah, just shorten it, right?
Hooper pats King on the cheek, smiling at the boy. Yeah, just be shortening, trim. This is, yeah. Indicative of novel writers.
Drain from Hooper's eyes, yeah.
Yeah. Indicative of novel writers.
Hooper dies while Kane stands over him.
Yep. But it's, yeah, that's ensure all dialogue is in dialogue blocks.
Yeah.
Bold. I don't think I can bold in Notepad++, but. Edits exterior water wall of Calico, California. Chorus of squealing metal goes in and out, in and out. Luke, 18, throws all of his muscle behind a pump. Every push down listens to squeal, but no water. Sweat drips down his brow along his exposed back through his dusty overalls. The ghost town rises up against the hillside behind him, a literal tourist attraction that lacks any tourist.
Gosh darn it.
I like all their voices.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm a little kid.
I could
like Mickey Mouse.
Gosh darn it. He'll be emo.
Yeah, so Hooper did want to die, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. With another painful push, water leaks out into the empty plastic jug. The crystal geyser sticker
barely hangs on to it.
The subsequent push turns the spittle into an Asian flow.
Asian flow?
Even flow. Asian flow. Ooh. Luke wipes the sweat off his brow and caps the jug before loading it into a red wagon tethered to a rusted bicycle.
I like the world building stuff. Like, it's an interesting, like, the crystal geyser, the red wagon, the rusted bicycle. It's like, it has like good like ties to our current world.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Mother 48 tends a tiny garden along the rundown house. She hums the same tune as whistled by Hooper and sung by Kane with a cigarette shoved between her lips. The squealing tires of the bicycle and red wagon break her song. Mother ashes the cigarette and conceals the pack before Luke appears over the ridge. He sets a couple of fill jugs beside Mother and gives her a peck on the cheek. How was it today?
tough. I'll be sore tomorrow.
Desert wants this place back.
I don't know why it would.
Mother dusts off as she stands. She pats her son's cheek. Mother's bedroom, hilltop house, night. Mother slides a cigarette backpack beneath her mattress. She hurries through the house to the kitchen. Kitchen, hilltop. Mother washes her hands in the sink with water from a jug. Modern kitchen surrounds her: microwave, dishwasher, oven. She opens the oven door, revealing a bit of coal embering beneath the rack. The pot cooks just above it. Mother pulls it out with a pair of oven mitts and begins filling bowls. Luke brushes his wet hair and dripping water. Whichever McGorn to Molly, when King Lear dies in Act 5, do you know what Shakespeare has written? He's written, he dies. That's all, nothing more. No fanfare, no metaphor, no bitter. Yeah. Every time I read those 2 words, I found myself. Probably because the words, because of the life we saw part of the words. That's awesome. I like that. Great quote.
Interesting.
That's very true. It's very important. Makes the prose really pop. Sleepy fox.
Me? No.
Not too bad.
No, I'm good.
Okay, do have towels, you know? So this is actually reading pretty quick. We're on page 7. I'm not even noticing it. Luke brushes his west pad. Okay, brushes wet hair, pair of athletic shorts, sits down just as Mother places a bowl in his seat. We do have towels, you know. You're going to catch a cold one of these days if you walk around like that.
I'll take the cold. It's not every day I get to feel water on my skin.
You'll enjoy that feeling less and less if we don't find another well.
I'll look around tomorrow.
You do that. You better stick to the hillside. You know how I feel about you wandering into the sun.
I know, Mama.
The boy puts his elbows on the table, ready to dig in. Elbows? Luke obliges Mother, taking his free hand off the table. He watches her place the bowl in an empty spot between them. Mother takes her seat at the other end. She stares at her bowl for a long time with her hands in her lap.
This stew's delicious, Mama.
The compliment breaks Mother from her trance. It's not much of a stew without some meat. The carrots sure did grow up nicely, though. Luke eyes the steaming bowl at the center of the table. Mother catches his gaze, tracing it the empty setting. Don't start, Luke.
I don't need you, Mama.
He chews on a spoonful of stew, thinking. He swallows.
It's a shame to waste this, is all.
It wouldn't be a waste if your brother showed. I'd hate for Kane to walk through that door and not have a meal waiting for him.
Yes, Mama.
You'd want the same, wouldn't you? Alright, it's a good moment. Page 7. Good moment. Made better that we've met Kane. We're actually seeing the same characters come back. Yeah.
Luke and Kane. And they're connected. Clearly.
A couple of years in the sun. Okay, a couple of years in the sun, and I'm sure he hasn't had a proper meal. If that boy walks in here, I want to be ready to greet him, and I'm sure he'll be ready to eat.
Yes, Mama.
And I'm hoping that that's going to come back in the final scene where he actually comes home and eats the meal. That would be a good use of this scene.
That would be great.
Because you always want to return. Endings are returnings to the beginning. Well, yeah, skip to the end.
Skip to the end here and see.
Skip. We'll skip to the end to see if he tied it back. In. Yeah. Sunrise aims its rays at the hillside. Mother hangs bedsheets from a clothesline, sporting a white sundress and baked brown shoulders. She sings to the same tune hummed the previous day with the same words as Kane. Down in the valley so low. Not gonna do it. My artistry days are gone. It's a western. It should be more suspenseful. Ending. My note for this entire scene. History of violence. Guy comes into the dining room for the whole ending. Nobody says anything except the youngest girl gives him a plate setting. Shit should be more suspenseful. I agree. There's also not much conflict, so we're gonna see in this scene. I think that's the problem. This is exposition. I would say that. Not much conflict in the mother scene. I think it's okay to set up an idyllic world that the hero can return to. So I'm going to let it slide this time, but things need to get going soon. I can spell. Yay. So that would be my stance. I think some really phenomenal films. So you either do this in a few places. You either do it in the beginning, the midpoint, or the three break into three moment, or like right around there. Is you'll have either an idyllic moment, where it's like in a tragedy, it'll usually be the beginning because you see this idyllic world that crumbles and it's tragic. In also tragedy, you'll have it be the midpoint where the hero does all this stuff, builds up to something, gets to this idyllic moment of peace, but because the hero has not learned the truth about life, he continues searching beyond the peace, and then he only finds like death, right? So like what's going to happen in like my novel, for example, is that structure where this hero is on this journey to go to this like place where he's going to get power. So on the way there, he finds this idyllic town where like everyone is very like nice. They have this like great dinner. There are people in community. But then he keeps going, and then he eventually kills that town and then destroys everything because he keeps pursuing his ambition and leaves like the good behind him. You've read the story.
Not that part.
The distributor.
Not that part.
That's what happens.
Oh, the idyllic city is the distributor?
No. There's that little town outside the distributor where they all have this little celebration.
Oh,
and then he ends up pushing through into the town, and then when he gets chased by like the tower on the way out, the town gets like obliterated, and then everybody's dead, and then he goes back through and he's like, well, what have I done?
I don't know that at all.
Well,
but I haven't. Was that in the treatment?
It was very lightly in the treatment.
Okay.
Like the use of many slug lines. The problem with idyllic is just a little cliche. Elbows, food to waste, etc. Only death beyond the peace. What a cynic. So you can, and then that's when you usually have, and you can also end with the idyllic moment. True, very true. Those are tragic structures. So then you obviously can turn those on their head. Then you do the inverse, right? For there's a few, so you can do like the It's a Wonderful Life, where it goes idyllic, broken, idyllic, right? So that's like the Frank Capra's big structure, which is like the return to the idyllic before. So that's that structure. But you still have to have those moments of like the hero's pursuing something, but they're missing the true good beside them. They're missing that's the hero's need, right? And that's where you see that contrast.
I think the idyllic is I don't think it's cliche just because it's so universal. Like I think
it needs to be done in a unique way.
Yeah, it needs to be done well, but like it still I think is important because unless you like truly make a cynical cynicism, you have to be careful with because it comes off as very like anti the universal human longing for like peace and like it's okay to be a little bit cynical and make it unique, but I think it is important in stories to have like because I think that is such a like everybody longs for like the place where they belong, like the place to like come home and rest their hat after like a hard, and that's like what they're searching for when done well.
Yeah, and I think what you may be getting at is this scene may not be the best execution of it.
Yeah.
And usually it's bringing in the world elements, bringing in more unique stuff can do that. So yeah, I think you may have a point there. I saw another comment pop up real quick. Are you familiar with Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces, 12 Stages? I am. Yeah, it's very good. Another good simplification of it, because Hero with 1,000 Faces is a tome, and it's a very hard one to get through, is Chris Vogler's The Writer's Journey, which is really good. I would very strongly recommend it. Has a hat rest. Yep, very true. Bam. Good structure. You know thine structure, Majin Buu. Front yard, a sun raising to the hillside. Mother hangs bed sheets, sings Lux's bedroom. Mother's song wakes Luke, supporting only a tattered pair of boxer shorts. He wipes the crust out of his eyes to be the silhouette. Comic book lays on his chest. The hand goes for a magazine at the bottom. Penthouse. What a pimp. What a
This is
pimp.
young Jeffrey.
Yeah, in my post-apocalyptic
18-year-old
world
Jeffrey.
of El Paso.
Yeah.
Just getting the mags.
Smirking and grabbing his penthouse.
Mom's outside singing. Perfect. Mother pins a corner of a bedsheet to the line. She holds it up on its other edge, her free hand clenching the clothespin. Luke's bedroom. Luke takes one last look at the window before he digs into his boxers. Mossy smut up on his chest. Nice and quick, Luke. Alright, I'm gonna unmute the stream. Yay! Welcome back. How's it going, Bookfish? You came into an awkward part of the awkward part of the script reading, but we're gonna get through it. Part of the versioning, okay, blah blah blah. Mom? Just gotta scroll down, fast forward. Leads the way.
What?
Luke buries his face in his mother's covers. What the frick?
What?
What's going on? Sudden silence. Okay. Mom? That's kind of an awkward rating. So he's like looking.
The way to his mother's side? What?
It's a bit too Oedipal, guys.
Weird.
It's a bit awkward. Page 9. Rephrase. A bit kind of awkward. That he's worried about his mom. It takes away from the tone. Hey, you can keep that moment, but it's gonna break your tone, which is like, hey, he's having fun, and then, oh wait, my mom's in trouble. It's gonna be dissonant. Luke buries his face in his mother's covers. She wears a sweaty sheen over her brown complexion. Her breathing wheezy. Buries his face. I don't really get that.
Is he crying?
Visual. A wiry man with thick gray beard, glasses. Oh, so this is a longer cut later. I see.
Oh.
So later on, she's sick. What do you need me to do? Doc pulls a stogie from his lips. You need to say your goodbyes. Not much else you can do now. Oh, you can be the doc. Well, you're Luke. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you need me to do?
Need to say your goodbye. I'll do the British. Yeah, he's the German one that survived.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do my German. You need to say your goodbyes. There's not much else you can do nowadays. Strokes are C words, you know. Best to say your goodbyes.
How do I say them to you? Is he talking
Luke
to
touches.
the dog?
Maybe he's talking to his mom.
Okay.
He should clarify that though. Takes her limp hand and she suddenly squeezes back his gesture.
Mama?
Kane.
Oh man.
Ice cold.
Brutal.
Ice cold. Mother's cries echo into the desert mind of Kane. Now a couple of years older with a scar on his nose, he's perched atop a withering steed in the role of cowboy, but for the tattered Vans loafers shoved in their stirrups. Hang in there, boy. He passed. Oh, wait, you were Kane.
No, I like yours better.
Hang in there, boy. He passes emaciated horse, Stony back, steering their path towards the lonely shack in the middle of the dry, flat land. Almost there. Sand consumes. So, interesting. This is good. Moment. I'm almost tempted to lead with a goal because I feel like it's a very static end to this segue. Good moment with the mother asking for the other. Yeah. Mother, but it seems like a flat jump. Could we in more action? I mean, I do like that something happened, that it moved. I don't think him fapping needs to be there. Like, I think that's just wasting space. And honestly, like, space is so critical.
Yeah, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, and it doesn't agree with the tone, right? Or maybe it does. I guess you had a strip club in the beginning.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Whoops. Wait, no, I'm wrong. Wait, you're right. It was weird. But I really like examining stories as stage. Just to see how the story stacks up against, because it's really such a great outline for the protagonist's story should look like. Not to say every story should follow the hero's journey, but there's definitely a comfort in the familiar, and audiences tend to expect. So yeah, I actually agree with you. So not Daenerys. So the hero's journey is a really good outline of the quest storyline, and you're absolutely right. This is that. This is him going on a quest to find his brother. There's some other really fascinating story structures, and what I think Campbell does talk about, but stuff like the fairy tale structure, where there's usually some celebration and a curse, like and like beating the curse. And sometimes you go on a quest to do that, which is more heroic, like hero story. But if you watch Deer Hunter, which is really a fascinating movie, they use the fairy tale structure in Vietnam, right? Where like they have this big wedding, everyone's happy, and this really jacked up Marine shows up, and he's like the curse, right, at the wedding.
Right.
So like you can use these like really dynamic elements from like these big fiction genres, like the hero going on a quest, like those fairy tale structures,
even
like the internal struggle, yeah.
But like just going back to what you were saying, like the familiarity. One of my very favorite books is like Ella Enchanted, and it takes a Cinderella story in it, but it's in the fairy tale structure where like, and it's very like typical. It's like she has this curse put on her when she's a baby, you know, at her like coronate or her like, you know, she's like, and she has the curse of like obedience, and her whole story is like trying to like break this curse. And there is like a good moment at the end where like it's not. Usually it's like the prince saves the day, but it's really her like overcoming it on her own to save the person that she loves. But like it really follows that structure of like the curse and like the journey to break the curse and find it. It's one of my favorite, and it's like for kids, and I still reread that book all the time. It's like a good example of familiar structures, but like done very simply, but like well, and with like a little twist.
And usually, yeah, and the cool thing is, like, if you read a lot of them, which I had a big fairy tale kick for a while, because I think that structure is fascinating. There's a lot of themes that, like, occur through them. Like, there's, like, the warning, like, don't go in there. Or, like, don't, like, look at me when the sun comes. Like don't look at me during the daytime. Whatever those things are. Or, like, and there's, like, the curse, the warning, like, usually wedding, a lot of like man, if you really are interested in that stuff, read Undine, which is a really old German fairy tale. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then also read anything by George MacDonald. He takes the fairy tale structure and branches out of it and does some just fascinating stuff, and he makes it very abstract, very surreal, but it's chillingly good. If you read Shadows by Ella Enchanted, yeah.
Yeah.
I would read Shadows by, and it's free because it's open. It's in the public domain. Shadows.
10th Kingdom.
Let me look.
I've never read that one. Have you read the 10th Kingdom?
I actually haven't. I've read some of his other stuff, but the 10th Kingdom I have not. So shame on me. I gotta take my own advice and get reading. Generate HTML. Yeah. Let me see shadows.
Is that it?
I think. Oh, there we go. It's like halfway through. Because it's part of a bigger book. It's a short story in a bigger book. Bam. It's about halfway down.
The Shadows. Control
Okay,
F.
I gotta read 10th Kingdom.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Discworld.
Oh, I've heard that's good.
I'll do this. I'm gonna write these down. Write them down. Discord.
Good, but I also don't like. I get annoyed by like long serial book series that don't relate to each other. But I hear it's good, so.
Well, more projects we're reading. No, it's good.
Yeah.
No,
talk about it.
No, this is why we started this stream. This is why we're here. Not good at writing now. Can't write, but there we go. Cool. All right. So we're almost here. So we can tell this is going to be a classic hero's journey, which maybe there'll be a mentor that helps get Luke out. Mentor will die. Yeah. It's like going to like a bar. Like those are very common tropes in hero's journey, right? Like you go to the pub, you meet your allies, you collect your friends. Those types of. I think there's like a bajillion of those out.
Yeah. And they're all pretty awesome.
Some of the Discworld miniseries. Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Sweet. Check it out. If it's on Netflix, then I know what we're watching. especially the color of magic. If I could spell. If I could spell
No
it.
hope for you.
Yeah, I know, seriously. Okay, unseen Kane? Okay, so Kane, okay, we're almost there. So he's out in this, he's talking to his horse. Upon arrival, left to his ponder dining rumble of empty rocking chair. Hello? Unseen shotgun pumps. Muzzle appears in the darkness out of the front door. Old man. You can hold, oh, you can be the old man.
No, I'm Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that's right, you're Kane. You can hold it right there.
Kane pulls back on his reins.
I know you ain't got no business here, 'cause I know I ain't got no business with you. So tell me, what the F are you doing here?
Just passing through.
Ain't nothing to pass through to.
Muzzle pushes out of the darkness in the blinding sky. Leathery old man clutches the shotgun aimed at Kane.
So now I know you're lying.
Not lying, sir. Straight from the path, and this is where I find myself, humbled in your graces.
Ain't nothing humble about you, son.
Old man adjusts his aim, stepping to the porch's edge.
You should stray back. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's good. My one thing would be I kind of would be looking for a goal at this point. It seems like just like a lot of wandering and fighting and griping and momming and fapping. Yeah, sorry. So usually you can get away with saying my main goal doesn't start until the break into Act 1. Or Act 2, I mean. End of Act 1. That's okay. But in the meantime, you have to have everybody needs a goal in every scene. They want something and they're doing something. This one you can kind of get away with it because Kane wants to pass through, whatever. But there should be something bigger he's going for. Even if it's going to change and to become whatever the Act 2 goal is. That's fine. But just give me something. And I would say that will definitely be a weakness here, not having. Ain't nothing humble about you, son. Okay, you should stray. Sorry. Old man adjusts his aim, stepping to the porch's edge.
You should stray back to where you came from. Whatever bull S you selling, I ain't buying.
I'm no salesman, just a wanderer.
Well, then wander away from here.
Kane surveys the surrounding emptiness. He glances down at his horse, but the animal's too weak to return a look. I don't think you'll make it.
You got 2 legs, son. Walk.
The horse pulls with his remaining strength towards a hook-shaped pipe sticking out of the sand.
Pipe's drier than a nun's cooch.
I think he wants to find that out for himself. Kane hops down and ties his horse to the pipe.
No need to do that, son.
Kane turns on the shotgun's aim. He steps to the porch. Mister, if I'm gonna die, I'd rather it be by a shotgun shotgun to the face than the withering in the desert.
You don't think this'll go bang?
I hope it does. Sound has some appeal to it. But you're not gonna gun me down your front yard, may I come? But if you're not gonna come and gun me down your front yard, may I come inside?
What do you think?
Think that I'd be grateful for a reprieve from the heat.
Sun'll be down in a couple hours. You'll have plenty of shade then.
Old man reaffirms his grip on the weapon. Mother didn't raise a beggar, but I found myself with no other choice than to appeal to your sympathies.
My sympathies dried up along with that wealth. There ain't nothing to appeal that'll change my mind.
Kane takes the first step to the shotgun and follows him.
Only buckshot up here for you.
Page 12. Good dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be it. Unwelcome guest. Take another step, another out. One thing to think about is these scenes have been playing out pretty much as expected. So where's the surprise? And where, apostrophe the surprise, where's seen the surprise? So one example of this, which I thought was really well done. Ooh, hello. I'm catching back up. Okay, stars John Alston and Tim Curry. Come from a heavy fantasy background, which is where I enjoy the hero's journey, but it's always interesting in other genres. Yeah. Well, if you use those fantasy elements and those structure elements in genre stories, works like, modern literary fiction won't always use as much of the core hero's journey. It'll usually be a little bit more abstract. But if you use those hero's journey elements, it'll sometimes be stronger. It's amazing. Free copy on Fallon. Shoot me your email. Sweet. Facing more. All his accents, my comments.
Wait, what is this? Oh, his thing.
Oh yeah, he's just. If you read it, it's awesome. Facing war between two making it. Sweet. I actually need to check it out. I think I read the screenplay adaptation of it. We read the screenplay.
Oh, he's talking to not.
Yeah, he's talking to not Daenerys, yeah. There you go, not Daenerys.
You like our accents with fish.
But I'm glad you like our accents. But yeah, so the example of so the issue with these scenes so far, and I'm probably going to stop here because it's getting late. Not because it's bad. I would actually keep reading. I think this is really good, actually. So number one, well done. Oh.
Oh, I guess not.
Oh, okay. Well, I sent it to you. I think I got it. I think I have a book, but I thought it was a screenplay adaptation. But I will, because I remember it was like the native fantasy, and it was like kind of in this like tropical world. Remember with like the doctor that was kind of like doing like weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We read a lot of stuff, so sometimes blurs together. So forgive us. But yeah, I think the problem here is it's all delivery as expected. So the thing, like for example, there was this really good book that one of my classmates wrote a while back called Red Rising, and one of the really cool elements of it is this guy fish out of water goes into he's a low class like red the working class, and he goes undercover as one of the gold class, the ruling class, and he goes to their like training camp. So then he's on this training camp, and it's all posh and everything's comfortable. You've been to this part.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all posh and everything's comfortable, and they're getting all these girls that are like nice, and then all of a sudden they wake up in a room with like two guys, and they're all like they're just like naked, and they get drugged and they wake up, and then they're like one of you has to kill the other. So that surprise. So I was expecting a posh, rich, ruling class world. I've set up this world as it's rich and ruling class, and then boom, one of you's walking out of here, or nobody's walking out. So, I mean, those are the types of moments that can turn the reader's expectation. I'll put that in the comments, just so you guys know the book. But those are the expectations that can really kick some butt. Hey, Casey, good to see you.
Hey.
Good to see you. Good book to read for a surprise. And he does a really good job at a few of these things, where like the characters' choices, really can be surprising. So he's done a great job in that book. So I'll check it out. Cool. Take a book shot with a smile and thank you. So if you're gonna do it, do it. The old man shakes behind his shotgun sight. Kane sidesteps the muzzle of his piercing sight on the old man's watch. It's alright, and you say crap. That's it. Sorry, Casey. Yeah. You actually caught us right at our bedtime.
Yeah.
So I feel bad.
You can watch it.
For sending out pictures later tonight? Sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, send it on over. Do you have it?
Oh, we're looking at a Scriptshadow, Casey. It's called Walk Across the Sun.
It's pretty good. I actually really like this one. If you guys are looking for a fun... Yeah, so it's definitely going to get our vote. Yeah. Whoa. Back off. Notes.
Yeah, I liked this one.
So let's go ahead and do our overall, and then I'll check my email once you're good, and then I'll walk. I actually really like this one. I would keep reading it.
Me too.
Hashtag would keep reading.
Find out what happens.
I would keep reading. That doesn't happen often. You get so excited as a reader.
It feels like the prodigal son story, and like the feels like very biblical in its scope.
Yeah.
Like the brothers. I like I said, I like supernatural. I like stories about like brother relationships. Brother. Yeah, like I also like the setup and the dialogue. It's good.
Great writing and the dialogue.
It's consistent. Not too cliche, but it's like it fits.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was really strong. A rock and roll drummer born with supernatural good luck finds his ambitious rise to stardom blocked by crooked producers, dangerous criminals, and obligations of his Italian family. I like that. Rock and roll drummer born with supernatural good luck finds his ambitious rise to stardom blocked by crooked producers, dangerous criminals, and the obligations of his Italian family. I think that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. One thing that you can sometimes do is hint at an antagonist. So, yeah, I mean, you can hint at an antagonist. You can have a little bit more, like, what the overall goal is. Like, if it's like, because usually, like, rise to stardom is a little bit vague. So if you have a specific goal, it can help. like a rock and roll drummer, born with supernatural good luck,
About to
on
be
his
signed
way
for a
to
record
like
deal.
win, to get like an Emmy or win his record deal, Grammy. On his way to like, yeah, I know, I'm pop culture, not here. But on his way to win a Grammy is blocked by like his past of cookie producers, stuff like that. So whatever that is, or whatever, like usually if the character has a single thing that represents his overall goal to become famous, because like when do you really become famous? Where's that moment you become famous? Really hard to nail down. So if you have it like wins his Grammy or gets the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like whatever it is, that sometimes helps. So that would be my one note. But I think it's a pretty strong logline. Definitely, seeing it kind of evolve from your first draft has been awesome, and it's really cool to see how much leaner it's become.
You can watch it, Jay Crizzle.
Yeah, you can watch it. Manually playing and streaming. Check out the stream. Seems pretty interesting.
The first half.
Yeah, the first half's good. My problem is it isn't a GSU logline, but it conveys the story the best. Thanks to the fellow, no problem. I'd once focused on the antagonist. And the producer gave me feedback that he didn't like it. Born with belief, charming young drummer. Sweet life. Yeah, so I think, because it's hard for me to relate. So these sound like two separate stories, right? So I think what your producer probably gave you the right note, which is like the crack-addled pro basketball player against his own, because that sounds like a different choice. Like basketball doesn't relate to rock and roll. That sounds like a different story track than the initial one, which is like I'm a really good drummer. So I would make sure. I think you're right. I would keep the antagonist part out, but I would add in a specific solid goal that is getting taken away from him. Whatever he wants, that his past, the corrupt people, all this stuff, whatever that goal is, what's stopping him? But yeah, and I know you said you're kind of leaning away from the GSU logline, but I would at least, you don't have to necessarily have the stakes, but I would at least say like he wants this specifically. It really helps drive that story forward. But yeah, so I think this was an awesome draft over here. The Walk Across the Sun, really good. I would keep reading it. It's actually a pretty fast read, so it probably wouldn't take more than an hour if I was just reading silently. The things I would improve, I think mother storyline, a few odd. I would just lean out the mother storyline. There's minimal conflict, and it communicates could be done in 3 pages, not 5. Which I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was pretty long. The other bit, give us a surprise based in this world. See a lot. What makes this special?
Cut down some of the verbosity.
Yeah, trim a few of the massive fight scenes. Other than that, I thought it was great. I mean, really well done. Definitely got the vote this week. And then, yeah, so we're going to post this and the notes on Scriptshadow, so we can go ahead and get that done. But yeah, that's the show. Let's see. Point of belief. Yeah. Okay, literal goal. I'm confused by what you're saying. What's stopping him? Oh, yeah, multiple people. Oh, yeah, the multiple people balked every time with the basketball. Yeah, wait, I'm confused by what you're saying. His literal goal is to become famous. Yeah. So his literal goal is to become famous Majin Buu, but the way I would think about it is becoming famous is a bit vague, right? Like, is there a distinct moment that Leo became famous? It was kind of weird. Like, he was in Titanic, but then he was kind of in some stuff before that in Rose. So you really want to find...
You want to define what famous means, I think.
Yeah, does famous mean a Grammy? Does famous mean,
Does it mean, like, getting a record deal? I mean, like, what it means to your character, maybe, because I think it differs. But I think, like, the goal, like, that, like, to become famous, is it just to play a gig at the local bar? Is that, like, what he's working towards? Or is it, like,
Yeah.
Is he already? We don't. I don't know. Just like.
I would nail a specific event that can happen in a scene, like getting the award, getting the X,
The record deal.
or like the record deal, whatever that means. I would make it a single specific item. Yeah, I got some notes too. Good, yeah. Yeah, natural writing is good. Yeah.
Time Shark.
Time Shark, 2 or 3 pages. You should just read 2 or 3 pages. What do you think? Should we do it?
I gotta.
You gotta go home. It's 12. It's 12 o'clock over here. Sorry. We will maybe another day.
Releasing an album. Oh, there you go.
You should stream your edits of Time Shark. Actually, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would love to actually see your, because it's always so good to edit it out loud. Like, it's actually helped my writing a lot doing it. Even though I used to do this for work, it's actually quite different when you do it for fun and you're actually thinking about it because you want to. And I've actually learned quite a good bit. But anyways, guys, that's the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. As always, you guys are amazing, very smart people, and have good conversations.
Good ideas.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Peace. Rock on.